Let's play.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action.
This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright.
And you're listening to The Krypton Report.
And you're listening to Krypton Report.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird.
It's a plane! It's the Krypton Report!
The All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Welcome to the Krypton Report. It is that favorable time of year, the October, usually when all the CW returns. And we're not having that this year. So me and the family have gathered around, that's right, James's family. And we've decided to watch the pilot episode of the legendary, most influential superhero series of all time. That's right, Smallville. Sitting next to me is
somebody save me.
My lovely wife, Jania. My beautiful children, Selah and Solomon. And the TV with Tom Welling without no shirt on. Good times. So, we're going to do a commentary with the pilot of Smallville because we have seen it enough and we thought a commentary would be fun to do compared to just a usual discussion. So, James, real quick here. Did you watch this episode when it premiered? Which it premiered the 16th of October in 2001.
Oh, so we're like two days early? 3 days early?
Yes. And do you know what's significant about the 16th? That's Jerry Siegel's birthday.
Oh, excellent. Don't worry about it. So I'm trying to remember if I seen this. If I saw the pilot, I think I did. I just don't. I think I saw the pilot on TV. I remember seeing the first couple of episodes, and then I was a little bit in and out in the very early stages of Smallville. But then after like season 3, I was in it all the time.
See, I was like the opposite of you, just because of work and moving around doing life. I was really heavily in season 1 and season 2. And then about season 3, I just was busy. Like, I had an inconsistent schedule. I wasn't living at home, so I didn't have DVR. And then I just started buying the seasons every time they dropped. I think I started catching up on season 4 on ABC Family. Or Fox Family, whatever it was at the time, ABC Family.
Right. Well, so the reason that I was in and out was because the last couple of years of high school, like, I actually haven't had cable since I was like 16.
Yeah.
So, and at the time, it wasn't digital yet. So, it wasn't digital broadcasting. It was still analog broadcasting when it was back on the WB. And I had a hard time getting that without it. It was easy when we had cable. It was Channel 5, had WB. But then after we didn't have cable anymore, I couldn't get it, so I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, my mom would DVR it for me, but then somehow they get deleted and whatever when I'd come home from college to watch some. And I didn't start getting to watch it again continually while it was airing till season 8 because I was roommating with some people and we had cable, and then I ended up buying it with a Star. I got a Star Rewards thing from work and got a gift card for iTunes, and it was the first series I purchased from iTunes was season 8. So I had it there to watch, and then I watched season 9. And I watched season 9 pretty regular with this beautiful woman next to me. I'd come over to her house and visit her, and we would watch it. And, of course, season 10, they were doing you could stream on the CW website. So if I missed it, like next day I was on the website watching it. And so
I didn't even know that. Yeah, that was when it was WB. It was just that was the reason why I couldn't watch it consistently early on. But by the time season 5 rolled around, me and my mom went to my aunt and uncle's house I believe it was Thursdays when season 5 was coming out, and we went over there every Thursday to watch Smallville with my uncle because he liked the show too. And so from season 5 on, I saw every episode as it aired.
So let's get into this because I got 2 impatient children who are wanting to see some Smallville. So are you ready, James? Now, James,
I am.
How are you watching this? I'm watching it by my handy dandy Smallville DVD.
Me as well. Disc 1 of season 1, episode 1.
Good times. I remember getting this for Christmas that year. My dad bought it for me.
It's like when I watch, like I haven't watched Smallville on Hulu. I know it's on there, and I think that's awesome. But whenever I put Smallville on, I always grab my DVDs out. And I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Friends, you know. But yeah. Friends added footage.
Yeah. Smallville. Sometimes I hit Hulu up, like oh, I need to watch something on my phone, like. So, all right, here we go, everybody. Pull it up on Hulu. Put in your DVD. On 1, 2, 3, play. We're going to start it, and we all know that on the DVD, once you hit play, it just starts in space. So here we go. Ready, James?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, play. And here we go. Space. Meteors. Ship. I do like the fact, look at them, look at those CG effects.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that it starts just not on Krypton. Like, not with, like, October of 1989. All right, pay attention to this, James. 25,000 people live in Smallville. Okay? I live in a small town named Circleville. We have less people than Smallville.
Oh, wow.
And yet they talk about Smallville being this small town. 25,000 people? I don't know. What do you think, Ju? She's just shaking her head. So, how about that?
And the first person we see is John Glover, Lionel Luthor.
Reading a newspaper that says Queen CEOs die. And look,
not that it was actually planted there for a later date, but it's nice they actually went back to that.
Now
because back in the beginning it was episodic television. It was not a season long arc.
Exactly. But what I'm paying more attention because I haven't watched the pilot in a while, but there's young Lana. I'm paying attention because a lot of the scenes with Martha are all reshoots. Because Annette O'Toole's who they originally wanted. She couldn't do it. They cast somebody else whose name evades me right now. She filmed the pilot, and then Annette was available, so they reshot the scenes with Martha with Annette. I don't know if it was all of them or some of them, but I believe they had the complete pilot shot with the other actress. So it's just kind of interesting to see if I can tell. Look at that street, James. We'll be seeing that street again here soon.
Yeah, I like small downtown, little cities, little villages, where downtown looks like that. You know,
James, when are you going to come visit me?
Storefronts and little apartments and stuff.
When can you come visit me so I can take you to Jania's, storefront? Look at that, the Crow. Look, the Ross cream corn.
Yep. The only time we see Ross cream corn.
Or we see I guess that was Pete's dad, grandpa, uncles, like.
Yeah, probably a combination of them.
The cornfield. That's young Lex. As a little boy.
I like how they got him little redhead kid though.
Yes. He's got his asthma. That was a nice little.
Yeah, that's something they like explored on and off throughout the years of Smallville was, you know,
he was
Lex. Yeah, Lex was sick beforehand. He was a sickly child, and then after the meteor shower, he never got sick again.
We'll find out more. And first meteor to the original Scarecrow. Boom.
Yeah, that would be scary to see. I mean, you're scared by this kid tied up to a stake out in the field, but then a meteor fly over. Oof.
You know how long it took me to realize that Crater Lake was named Crater Lake because of a meteor?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm just going to say it took me way too long.
I mean, I guess I never put it together myself either, but...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, look, there's Lana Lang's mom and her not-so-father.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that?
She doesn't learn until later.
That was, like, harsh. Like, they just stood there and looked at that sucker.
Yeah.
I guess originally there had been ideas of, like, a subplot or something of, like, Nell being interested in Jonathan. But that was, like, quickly abandoned.
Yeah. They hinted at that here and there, and like when she sees Jonathan when Nell first comes in, and then she sees Martha, her demeanor changes. So I mean, they hint at it here and there, and it was probably more of a character piece for Nell when they were filming the pilot.
It is pretty sad. Like, Clark is coming to Earth and all the devastation that's happening, which is like the weight of his conscience throughout the entire series.
Yeah, I mean, you can see why a person with his empathy would feel responsible for this, even though he knows that it's not his fault. He still holds responsibility for it because this is how he got here. But you know, the amount of devastation that was caused, the loss of life, and then the people who were changed by the meteor shower.
Exactly. So we should blame it all on Jor-El, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, he's the one who planned for the ship to be covered by meteors when it landed on Earth. And I mean, if you're to believe how Jor-El planned things as the show goes on, his meeting of Jonathan and Jonathan's parents, and
I do like this right here, them hanging upside down and how he's introduced. But yeah, how Hiram met Jor-El when he was on his like walkabout, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes little Clark. I like that he's not an infant.
Yeah. What was it in this, or was it something else where they had said that it took like 3 years for his ship to reach Earth?
I think they say in here later, because it's a pretty common, like 3 to 5 years is sometimes like the common distance for like him to arrive. Because I'm pretty sure in Superman the movie it's 5.
Yeah. How he was kind of like in a hyper sleep, and his body, and he was fed yellow solar energy that kept him sustained until he landed on Earth. And this is the only time the ship looks like that.
Yep.
After the pilot, the ship looks very different.
Well, James, it's hidden, in dirt and debris from where it crashed.
Yeah.
And she's like, he found us. It's all great until you cut back to the scenes of town, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah.
They look up,
even in '89, that's when you're like, man, it's like the meteor shower, a ship landing here. Just the technology and a kid just appears out of nowhere. The Kents have a child.
Look at that Pepsi Mountain Dew. It's product placement.
Tang. Tastes better from the bottle.
I like how Martha,
I remember saying that when I was a teenager.
I like how Martha and Jonathan's
and then Jonathan
cereal
drinks from the bottle.
What do you call it? Fashion ain't changed much for the Kents since '89.
No. Yeah, I still, if I ever get the chance to build my own house, this is going to be the house I build.
I try. I've said that to Jania a couple of times. I'm not sure she's so keen on the idea, but maybe I'll warm her up to it. Jania.
Oh yeah, I'm building a Smallville farmhouse.
Why don't you? Jania,
at least the inside.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Jania is sold on the yellow on the outside.
No, but the inside is gorgeous. The kitchen, it's got a huge kitchen, and I love a good kitchen.
Jania, what do you think about that kitchen? What do you think about that farmhouse, Chew? What do you think? Look good?
All my apartments and my
cute.
homes, they've had so little counter space and cabinet space. It's just not conducive. I don't like it. So, yeah, big kitchen. They got a nice dining room there. They got 2 sets of stairs going upstairs. They got a living room and a den, and yeah.
Look at that brown
that's the house
jacket.
I'm gonna have commissioned.
Look at that good old brown jacket. And there's Pete and Chloe riding the bus. I think the only time we see them ride the bus, in the whole series. There it goes.
Clark moved any slower, and they have no idea.
There's that sign. Now look, population 45,001. The population went up after the meteor shower, and it's still Smallville. And this bus is just picking up everybody.
Well, in some
Pleasant
small
Meadows
towns, they only have 1 or 2 schools.
Hey, did they ever build more Pleasant Meadows homes? I don't think so.
Hey, look, it's Angel Grove High School.
Ah, man, it's morphin' time. There's definitely more shots of the school and surrounding area in the pilot than I remember throughout the rest of the series.
Yeah, that's not the same. That's not the same shot though. That's not the same parking lot they use in every other shot, or the shot that they used for Angel Grove in the Power Rangers movie either.
Exactly.
So I was wrong considering that wasn't the right shot.
Right. Look, he's wearing Nietzsche and biology. Pete wants to try out for the football team. Why does Clark have
Nietzsche's
a skateboard?
Always a staple, right? Nietzsche's always a staple in Superman stories.
Exactly. But I'm just trying to figure out why he's got a skateboard. I want to see him skateboarding in those boots in the cornfield, doing his ollies and kickflips.
I like to just watch. I like to watch Allison Mack and just try to remember a time before.
Yeah, there was a time before, a time above, of diamonds.
Absolutes.
Absolutes. And there's Lana the character that endured way too long on this show. Fight me, people.
Well, not necessarily the character, but his obsession with her.
That, I mean, just
for sure.
And how many times can she be like somebody's like, oh, and he falls over. Why is this?
So, Clark must not have had a whole lot of interaction with Lana if he didn't realize that every single time he gets close to her, he kind of gets sick. You know what I mean? That he's always just looked at her from afar.
Oh,
and he's trying to get that courage.
Look at that super meta reference. You know, because who would say that? Like, what are you, man or Superman? No. And there's Whitney.
Well, that's the Nietzsche. You know what I mean? It actually fit this reference really good. The Ubermensch, yeah, it fit in this reference very good. But as the show goes on, they force it in there on the nose, like facepalm inducing so much.
My question is, I'm trying to remember now. I feel bad, but didn't Whitney give her the necklace? Like, who gave her the necklace?
I think she said Nell gave her the necklace as a reminder.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I want to be reminded of all the time.
Well, I think she gave it to her and tried to, lift her spirits, not as like, remember this day your parents were were blown away, were decimated by a meteor.
I mean, there's our meteor-infected man. But
There's our scarecrow from the opening sequence.
Luthor Court Fertilizer Plant, number 3. I'm still excited about this housing development that never goes anywhere from Luthor Court.
I like that they always had purple associated with Lex throughout this show.
Yeah, right there. I mean, look,
the logo,
black jacket, purple shirt,
its clothing. Yep.
There's Rosenbaum. Jania's excited now.
He's still the best Lex.
It is. To me, it's now more of an argument between him and Pryor. Gosh, I can't think today.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's him and Cryer. They're top, and I mean, honestly, they're on the same level, but Cryer gets to play full evil Lex, who's been at it for years, when Rosenbaum got to play the guy who falls into being the evil guy.
I just like to think about it as, it's this is where Cryer goes. This is where he started. In my head canon.
Right.
There we go. Clark's football fantasy.
When he just throws 4 guys off of him.
Look at him run. Look at him run for the touchdown.
See, it's like John Burns opening right here.
Exactly. It is John Burns opening, but this is how you do it. It's a fantasy. Yeah. He even busted the football. Takes Lana in his arms. Poor Pete.
How do I look?
I just like how many shots of the pilot end up in the opening credits.
Yeah. Sam Jones looks so small.
Lex is driving so fast.
Especially the pilot.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not like a very big dude, but when you look at when he's in say he's Blue Mountain State when he's a running back in that show, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's grown. He's a little more muscular, He definitely can play almost a high school student.
I totally forgot about the barbed wire. Oh, Lex and his flip phone. Boom.
Man, but the early 2000s soundtrack on this show.
And he hit Clark.
It always had good music.
Oh, yeah. All right, there's a lot of songs I learned from this show.
Oh, yeah.
There's that floating phone. Better grab that thing. Hopefully he's got insurance. He doesn't.
The Porsche Carrera just at the bottom of the river.
He just opens like a tin can. Of course, Clark's first big save would have to be a high profile. Man, that bridge looks familiar. I think I've seen that thing on like 400 episodes of Supernatural. And probably a couple more episodes of Smallville, too. I wonder how many, like, if this was one of those series, because I don't know this, where they shot the pilot, and then months later, the series was, like, picked up and they continued shooting it. Because a lot of series are, were done like that. And that's why sometimes the pilot looks different, like some of the geography, background players, and stuff like that.
Or why people look different, their hairstyle, or from one episode to the next they put on or they lost weight or something.
Yes. The infamous car.
I like when that comes around later on, when Lex is all freaked out because of Clark, and I think that's the transference episode. What is it that your father said that we always joke about?
Yes. Oh, look at this beautiful blue jacket, jean jacket that never comes back. Clark, this is somewhat unethical. Okay, Whitney. See, my thing was like even from the pilot episode, just watching it, I was like, oh, okay. Like I had my little epiphany. Like it makes sense that he likes Lana and his best friend's Chloe, and when you mix the two together, what do you get? Lois. That's why he's in love with Lois. She's a blend of his first love and his best friend. And this was before she showed up. This was my ongoing thought process.
Well, I was always the Chloe fan.
Yeah, so was I. Until Lois showed up.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, yeah, of course, Lois, duh.
Well, yeah, I mean, relationship-wise, of course, once Lois showed, he was always my favorite female lead in this show.
Mm. And they're just discussing the, the necklace that we were talking about. That.
Is this what it...
My mom watched the first season of Smallville with me, and she was not a fan of Lana. It was funny because she was highly annoyed by her. My mom gets highly annoyed by a lot of people, so. Wasn't that awesome? I can't pause it, baby. Go pee, baby. Go, Sailor, go.
Nice.
She's yelling for all the listeners.
Like we're live. We're live. You can't pause it.
I can't, Sailor. This is ominous. I love how the jerks are still jerks. Like, they're still jerks. And you're like, man, you couldn't have, like, gotten to be 12 years ago.
12 years, and that's why he never left Smallville. Because he's a jerk who amounted to nothing.
Yeah. Hey, look, the same picture. Getting some use out of that prop. See, I like this, the subtlety. Like, he had a blue sweater on earlier. Now he's wearing a red flannel. What do you think of that yellow outside?
I like that's a staple. I like that's a staple to Clark. He wears plaid. Like in Man of Steel, he puts on a plaid his blazer to go to work.
Yeah, I like it too. It made me have a whole new appreciation for plaid, and it kind of stuck with me to this day.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years later. Gosh, can you believe it was 19 years ago?
I pretty much can't. Yeah.
I mean, Clark does have a point here. Like, he saved a man's life. He didn't ask for anything, He was given to it, I mean. So.
I mean, I think he does a good. Doesn't mean he, deserves anything from it. But also, he's got his own thoughts of the Luthers.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of both here. It's the goodness of Jonathan instilling that, just because he can do something, he should do it because he can, not because he can gain from it.
Yeah.
But then also it feeds into this part from Jonathan, how he has a grudge against the Luthers.
I love this. Normal? Watch, Selah. And that's how they end the series. Right there. In the pilot episode, they set up the end. The epilogue end, should I say. But, can we just talk about how he pretty much just ruined that piece of equipment?
I know, right? He just destroyed their wood chipper.
Son? I need you to help me fix this wood chipper. It is interesting in this how old he is when they tell him. He's like 15, and they're telling him, most versions he's a little younger.
Yeah, in some versions he's a little younger. Some versions he's like in John Byrne and Man of Steel and Lois and Clark, he doesn't even know.
Yeah. I like his face. Like, wait, he's like, Dad.
Well, I guess in Man of Steel they did tell him that he was in a ship, but he didn't know who or where he was from.
Right. That's kind of like Birthright.
Yeah, but in other ones, he didn't even know he was. He came in a ship until it was later.
There you go with your ship right there.
It's in the storm cellar.
I wanted to take pictures of Solomon in like a old like washing machine dryer, like to make it look like a ship, and like take all kinds of like Polaroids and like stash them somewhere. So like as he grew up and he found them, we could like play a trick and tell him that we found him in a shuttle in the backyard. But nobody was too keen on that idea. Ginny is looking like I'm an idiot.
Say, why do people shoot down all the good ideas?
Yeah, I did. I told you that. I remember we were all joking about it over at that place we don't go to anymore. And then he took off running. See, that's the thing. Is like once they introduce flight, the angel in the grave, like this is just iconic visualization of him right there with the angel wings.
Yeah. I
love it. They just don't give us good shots like that anymore. But what always bummed me out is like
some people are more visual storytellers, iconography, that type of stuff. Others, aren't.
You're right. It bums me out. It just bums me out that like once he learns how to like fly, they never use like speed anymore of him running fast.
Yeah.
Like in anything with Superman. It's like once he learns how to fly, they just forget that he can actually run fast too.
Well, I do like in the Smallville season 11 comics that when he comes to Bart again, him and Bart do their thing. Bart says something like, "You're slower than I remember," or "You're slower than you used to be," and he said, "Once I learned how to fly, I don't run that much or too many places," or something like that. So like it's like not using his speed, not running, kind of slowed him down. He's faster when he flies.
That makes sense. And I do want to add that my beautiful wife sitting next to me is wearing a red plaid shirt.
Awesome.
Lying in the middle of the night talking to her parents in the graveyard. That's pretty normal. I think it's pretty normal. What do you think, Jew? Yeah, Ginny agrees. This pilot is just really good. Like some pilots feel like they're dry or they go too fast because they're trying to force too much at you. And this just feels like a really good start, a really good intro to everything.
Yeah, good introduction to the characters, into Smallville as a whole, the town, families, the dynamics, the friendships. It is really good. I mean, you talk about like pilots and stuff, like Lois and Clark was really good. Smallville was really good. Now, when you like discuss things like the Harley Quinn pilot, like that was hit or miss for people. It was so jam packed, and they were just like throwing in everything they wanted to do. And then after that, the episode slowed down. Yeah. And the story evolved over the entire season arc. And it really gained more. It really gained more attention because the story was so good, and it wasn't just about the shocking content that they put all over the first one.
Yes. See, this is sweet. Like right here, Clark and Lana. This is cool. Season 5, Clark and Lana. It's a little old. Okay. Right there, James. Helps you out.
You can only will that. Yeah. You can only will they, won't they, for so long before it really starts to weigh down a show.
And, in the context of this series, I think in season 6, when Lana got with Lex, she should have stayed with Lex. I think it would have been for the context of this series and where they had moved the characters to where Lana almost resented Clark too for how he treated her and not telling her and everything. I think it would have been really strong to have her and Lex as like a power couple for a while. There's Whitney. jealous boyfriend. High school senior with a really bad haircut. Hey, the Queen Mansion. Now it makes sense why, it's all in the multiverse, It's also, hey, look, Xavier School for the Gifted.
Right.
So yeah, I like this subtlety right here. The blue sweater, red shirt underneath it. This is a room I don't think we ever go back to in the Luthor Mansion.
No.
Really,
it's also really good that like everything in the Luthor Mansion is covered right now. Like he's just into Smallville.
I think I'm going to go on a limb here and say that this is not a set. This is actually location. And then they build the set of Lex's main room for... No, Solomon, he's not bad yet. This is when it starts, when Lex and Clark are friends. Because they start out as friends.
It does look a lot more like natural lighting.
That's the story
coming
of Smallville, buddy. Of how Lex chooses to be bad and Clark, decides to be good. Now, this is the room that supposedly will eventually become our main Lex Luthor room. But once again, I'm feeling like this is the actual place. This is a location, and we will then build the set to mimic the location. So it makes me wonder a little bit more about like the pilot. Like, did you know the first season of The Office was all shot on a location of an actual office and everything? And then the second season, they built sets to mimic the office they filmed in?
I did not, and I have not seen very much of The Office at all. I actually just watched the pilot the other night.
Oh, James. Oh.
I know, Jania. That hit you right in the heart. You better give him CPR there, Jania.
Help, Jania, help. James hasn't watched hardly any of The Office. Solomon, you'll have to drive me and Mom to the hospital.
Crash course, you little 5-year-old man.
And Sayla wakes up in the middle of the night. If she has a nightmare, wants to get in bed with us, she goes, watch The Office. Turn on The Office. Because we used it a lot for background noise when they were babies.
Yeah, I was watching it. I was like, oh my God, Steve Carell's character is way, way wrong.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't get away with that. You couldn't even get away with putting that on TV now.
No, you can't. So here we have Chloe with her, 2-megapixel camera. I want that Smallville grocery bag. That's the collectible I want from this series. James, that's what we're gonna hunt down.
The Smallville grocery bag?
Yep. See, even look, is this the torch? Look at this room. This is definitely not the same torch office. This is...
Oh, no, not at all.
Natural lighting? Wow. Yeah. They filmed this in the school. This is all location shooting. Man, I have not watched this since... When... 4 years ago, Jania? Wasn't it? We kind of had it all on completely, and we watched through the whole series.
Even though this is the torch, and this is because they had it up on the wall, this is where they do the newspaper and stuff, Chloe's still the only one there.
Yeah. I always thought it was weird. Now, here we go, the Wall of Weird room.
Hush.
I did always think that it was weird that it was Chloe in the high school paper, that she ran an actual newspaper, instead of being a high school paper reporter working for Smallville's local paper. Because like right there, the Smallville Ledger. Like, why isn't like Chloe's like arc like working as like a like intern reporter at Smallville's newspaper instead of like running a high school newspaper as if it's an actual newspaper? Especially as the show goes on, where she'll make comments like, "Be all over tomorrow's front page of the Torch."
Yeah. Well, like high school newspapers came out like once a month.
Yeah.
Or once every couple of weeks or something like that. And she's like, "There's a new edition every day."
Yeah, that she's printing. Like, not like this ain't digital age yet. You know, we get that in season 10 where they do the handy dandy. We carry the Torch with us everywhere we go, and they pull out their smartphone.
Right. It is a big technology jump from the time that this started in 2001 to the time it ended in 2011.
And look, he just happens to be wearing Lana's necklace, or Clark would have wasted him. I love the jealous boyfriend who doesn't like just talk to his girlfriend, who decides just to like attack this other dude. So yeah, what does that say about Whitney as a person? Also, like the harassment.
Also, he puts her necklace on him and leaves it. Like, what a trash person.
Yeah, Whitney's pure trash. All right,
they try and redeem him with his father being sick and him joining the military.
There he is, the Scarecrow. So there's a cornfield near Jania's parents' house that has a small old graveyard, but they have a like wooden cross right there by it. And I keep trying to get Jania to grab some spray paint and drive out there one night and let me jump on the cross and take some pictures with a big red S on my chest. But
I was saying in 6 months when my cousin's wife gets back from Afghanistan, she's doing photography. I'm going to say, hey, we have a road trip and some pictures to take, and we'll come down and we'll do it.
Be like, what are you and James going to do? We're going to go jump on this cross with red spray paint on our chest and blue boxers. One at a time, though.
Yeah, we're going to tie each other to a wooden stake in a field.
It'll be awesome. It'll be so cinematic and artful. It'll be awesome.
Right.
Okay, can I just admit that, like, I never really thought too much about, like, the Christ allegory that they were, like, over, like, adding right there with, like, the idea of a cross instead of just the Scarecrow. I just kind of took it as the Scarecrow. Like, and then they're like, yeah, like Jesus on the cross. And I was like, oh, dang. Like, I didn't even think that deep. Man, me and my...
I don't know. It never really struck me. I always thought it was just a Scarecrow thing. You know, Smallville Scarecrows in the field.
Right. It really wasn't until I saw...
reading too deep into it just because they do that a lot with Superman.
I didn't even think about it until I saw the interview with Miles and Al, and they said it, and I was like, oh.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they were like, because they're talking about the metaphors and stuff. I was like, it was the segment of their interview is on the Look Up in the Sky Superman
okay.
document. And of course, Lex is the one that finds him because the Scarecrow thing is near LexCorp. Or LuthorCorp, sorry. I gotta keep reminding myself that it's not LexCorp yet. It's LuthorCorp. I had an awesome T-shirt that said Smallville Athletic Department. Like, it looked like a high school shirt. To the point, my brother and I were wearing them, and some dude thought that's where we went to high school. I was like, "That's pretty sweet, man." Even though it says Kansas.
I like the idea. I think stories are better for Superman when they keep him more in the realm of, you know, Moses and stuff, as opposed to the Christ metaphor. Like, Christianity permeating so much of pop culture and stuff like that. Like, he wasn't even created like that type of character, but people are just like forcing it on to people have forced it onto that character over the years.
And here Clark is. See right here. What happened to you is my fault. Boom. Throws him into a truck. Jeremy's got an interesting set of powers. Some electricity, starts a truck. Come on, Clark, you don't have to move. Exactly. That was a really weird shot right there. Yeah, of from the driver's perspective.
Yeah. It's funny, you can see how they sped up the camera, they sped up the frame rate.
Yeah. Don't do it, Jeremy. Don't do it. Poor guy. Did it to himself.
So one thing I liked about Smallville, how the electricity doesn't really affect him in this, but it does he does grimace at it, and the way it shocks him makes him fly backwards. But later on in the series, electricity has no effect on him. Like when he first gets shot with a gun and the bullets leave bruises, and then later on they just bounce off of him and he doesn't even feel it.
Exactly.
Like the progression of this show, his abilities getting stronger, his skin getting stronger, his durability, his strength, his speed, he gets faster. He becomes a more powerful version of himself over the years.
Man, I just want to kick back now. James, we're in for the long haul. Jania, put on some coffee. We're just going to watch the series.
Yep.
She's looking at me like, you're insane, Tyler.
She knows you'll do it, though.
Yeah, I know. She does know I do. Here we go. Walking out of the dance, Clark by himself. Saves the day. Doesn't get the girl, but that's okay, Clark. It's okay. You know why? Because you don't need the
at least he gets a little bit of payback here.
Yeah, he does. It's not as good as Man of Steel style, because, but this is like number 2.
Yeah.
Who did this to my truck?
And I know that guy. The guy standing right behind Whitney.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's oh crap, now what's his name? I can't remember his name now. But he was on Shameless. He was on the Dragon Ball Evolution movie. He played Goku.
Yeah, I totally didn't recognize.
Yep, that's him. He played Steve and Jimmy or whoever on Shameless.
I always thought if they made a Green Day biopic, he'd have been a good Billy Joe back in the day.
Yeah, I could see that.
Back when he played Goku and the way his hair was, I'm like, he looks like he should be in Green Day.
Right.
Oh, right there. So there's our first clue. Can I answer that in about 5 years? That was the idea of the longevity of this series. 5-year plan.
Yeah. It was almost the 5-year plan was, go off to the Fortress of Solitude and disappear for 12 years and reemerge as Superman.
Yep. And now
I'm glad they didn't do that, though.
Yeah, me too. I just, I look at it like now that it's done and over with, and even with Crisis, it helps put things in perspective. This is this Superman story. He did a lot of his adventures and had a lot of things happen to him before he was, quote unquote, Superman.
Yeah. I've been saying that for years, back on the Krypton site, forum page and stuff like that, the way people were saying this wasn't, or on Screen Rant and stuff when they're that wasn't the story of Superman. That's not how, these characters were introduced, or how come he's coming up to all these characters before he's even Superman, this and that. I'm like, it's another universe version of Superman. This is his story.
Yes.
Like he ends up is where he ends up is intended to be like more like the comic book version, where you know what I mean. And like Doomsday, the way they set it up, Doomsday could emerge from the Earth and kill Superman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they line things up that it could possibly get to that point. But like the path to get there is different.
So like the way they just shot this scene would look like almost as if he can see her without the telescope. You know, like is his microvision kicking in now? Can I just say, like, ending the first episode with Lifehouse with one of their best songs that I have played a lot is awesome. 'Cause you're all I want. You're all I need. Yeah, that's how you end the show. And what I like is they set everything up. Like, we know who Clark is, we understand Lana, and we got a taste of Lex. So that, you know, the next thing is when we actually get into Lex. You know, they didn't try to shove Lex down our face, or Lionel, or, you know, we were able to
make him seem like he's the bad guy right from the get-go.
Right. You know, we were able to enjoy, you know, Clark's first adventure and get our characters in place to build our series. So that was the pilot of Smallville. One of probably the best pilots. What do you think, Ju? What do you think, Solomon? That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Sayla says it's awesome too.
I kind of like it.
You kind of like it? That's good.
Because the scarecrow.
Yeah, because the scarecrow.
I didn't say yeah.
What's so James, what's interesting to me, yeah, is interesting to me is like, why hasn't Smallville received a Blu-ray treatment? Like, I was at Half Price Books Monday and I found the Adam West Batman 66 first season on Blu-ray for $7. So,
oh wow,
I was like, yeah,
you
I'm
can
gonna
get the
pick this
entire
up.
series on Blu-ray for like $50-$60.
Exactly. I already had season 3 on DVD, but I didn't want to rebuy. You know what I'm saying? But I was like,
Yeah.
that'd be cool just to see the transfer, to see those colors pop, you know. And like recently, like we've had the animated series of Batman, and we've had stuff come out with Blu-ray. And the only thing I can kind of, I mean, I don't know, because like Batman 66 would be a restoration. This would be a restoration. Lois and Clark would be a restoration because they filmed all on tape. Maybe not this. I don't know. This is that weird time period, short, like as digital was starting to emerge, but I don't think they used it for.
I think it was later, the later seasons where it was digital.
Yeah, I mean, I could by season 10, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
like, because everything had gone to digital.
Like 8, 9, 10, pretty much.
Because like I think about like, you know, Lois and Clark, the pilot was shot on film. You know, film as in cinematic style. You know, the rest of the series was shot on tape. And then, you know, tape a lot of times is not the best thing for long term. So bringing things to Blu-ray, so you'd have to take, I don't know, the whole process. But I enjoyed watching this with you. You know, Smallville is one of our favorite shows, and we'll get more into that. But we had talked about doing Smallville, the pilot. Now, you know, kind of celebrating something's pilot, since right now we don't have anything, and we know that Superman and Lois is filming, and that's the closest thing to Smallville we got going right now.
Yeah, pilot season, and we're watching some old pilots.
Yeah, Solomon is rooting right now that Superman and Lois premieres on his birthday, because his birthday's in January and it's coming in January. So we're holding out that it's going to premiere around his birthday, aren't we, buddy? Yeah.
What day is what is his birthday?
The 12th.
The 12th.
I don't know what day it falls this year or next year.
That's what I'm looking for. That's a Tuesday. It could be a Tuesday night show.
It is possible.
If they put it on there with maybe the Flash or something, if they keep the Flash on Tuesday.
Yeah. All right, good listeners. Thank you for tuning in to James and Tyler and the family. And just remember, good listeners.
Look up in the sky.
Look up in the sky.
Look at